Welcome to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show with me, Brenda Hector. I'm a business growth specialist, helping business owners to develop themselves and grow their businesses so they can achieve their goals and enjoy the lifestyle they dream of. I'm on a mission to revolutionise the entrepreneurial landscape for women in business. In every episode, I interview someone who has an inspiring story or some great advice for women aiming to start or scale their businesses. If you're new to the show, take a moment to subscribe right now so you don't miss any upcoming episodes, and please check out the previous ones after listening to this. We have an awesome Facebook community. Just search for Scale Her Up and join in. Welcome to Scale Her Up. I'm Brenda Hector, and with me today is my friend I've known for years, Rachel Fyfe from Tartan Competitions. Rachel, thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me, Brenda.
Oh, no, you've got a brilliant story, so it's about time that we got you interviewed. So yeah, where will we start? What do you do at Tartan Competitions?
Basically, we raffle off prizes. People buy tickets and hopefully win something at some point.
And how long have you been doing that?
It'll be 3 years in June, actually. And as competition businesses go, we're still pretty small. We haven't grown quite as quickly as some others out there, but that's okay. We have grown steadily, and that's all right too.
So yeah, let's go back to the beginning then.
Okay.
Why did you actually no, let's start. You've got a really interesting entrepreneurial journey. So let's just start at the beginning. Yeah, tell us your story.
Well, it's funny because you use that word entrepreneur, and that's not at all um a word that I think of myself being. Um Jack of all trades might be a better.
No,
um
you're not the first person to come on this podcast and I say entrepreneur or businesswoman and they go, "Oh, I don't think of myself as
yeah,
that." Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. It's weird. It's probably part of that, I don't know, lack of self-esteem, isn't it? That can be found in a lot of people. But anywho, well, I do have a very varied uh, working life, shall we say. Um, I initially went into the hospitality industry after school, for my sins, and managed restaurants, managed an outside catering company, things like that. And when I fell pregnant with my son, I thought, not very family friendly hours. And yeah, the business that I was working with, I did think about going part time and things like that, but because I was the main front face for it, if you like, in managing all the events, I didn't feel that part time would work very well. I felt like I would be getting phone calls all the time, try to fight fires and things like that. So I decided to step away from it completely. So when I had at the end of my maternity leave decided that I wasn't returning, and I actually started working in supermarkets at that point just to have something
Mhm.
to bring in some money. But I was working night shift. I was only sleeping when my son was napping, which isn't very sustainable. And at that point, a friend of mine, an ex-work colleague actually, had started doing body shop parties. So I had a party for her, as you do, to support your friends. And she said to me at the end of the night, "Oh, I've made 100 quid tonight." And I was like, "Excuse me, pardon? I'll have some of that. Thank you very much." And so I worked with the body shop at home for 3.5 years, started just doing parties in people's houses, and then built a team and became an area manager with that, and did that all throughout my second pregnancy actually as well, with my daughter. Left the supermarkets very quickly once I started that, and yeah, worked through all my pregnancy, went back to work doing parties very quickly after having my daughter as well, because as a self-employed person, you're, not guaranteed any income. There's no big maternity pay, and things like that. So, but it worked brilliantly. My husband at the time was working for the council, so he was home at a reasonable hour, which meant I could go out in the evenings and do parties and things like that as well. And then whilst I was doing that, and having had two children, my mum had started going to a Slim World group and trying to lose weight. And I thought, oh yeah, fancy losing a few pounds actually after having two kids. and went along, and again the opportunity kind of was there, and I thought, oh, I could maybe do that. To become a Slimming World consultant. I went along to what they call an opportunity event, heard about it, and thought, yep, I could do that. And actually I could do them both. And I did for a while. I ran Slimming World groups, and I still did my body shop parties, and did them both for a while, and then kind of very quickly progressed with Slimming World from one group to two groups. Actually, I took over a second group within a month of me launching the first group, actually, with Slimming World, and then went on and had a third group as well. And with being out 3 nights through the week, I kind of thought, actually, I could maybe get my weekends back, because of course the body shop parties were all at the weekends. Well, a lot of them were. So sort of wound down the body shop business, and just kept going with Slimming World. And Slimming World, as a consultant, you're self-employed. So as much as you're a franchise holder, you are kind of your own boss with that. And again, I built a team there, became a team developer with Slimming World. And as the kids kind of got older, my daughter was starting going to nursery and starting primary one, and the opportunity kind of came to apply to become a district manager with Slimming World. So the district that we are in, of course, is the north of Scotland, which has very large geography. There was quite a few hoops to jump through for that one, which I had never done anything like that before. There were, I had to do a presentation. There was sort of personality tests, if you like, to make sure that you're the right person. It was very out of my comfort zone. I don't know if they do a lot of that in the corporate world, because I've never worked in the corporate world, but I think it might be something similar to that. And I became a district manager and did that for almost 3.5 years. So all in all, I worked with Slimming World for almost 10 years, actually, which is the longest job I've ever had so far. And yeah, I mean, it was great. I did a lot of traveling with Slimming World. My district was from Fyfe to Tartan initially, so it was like 7 hours from top to bottom. But the difficulty I found, the longer I did Slimming World, was the more I did, the more they wanted, for want of a better phrase. And I felt like I was never home. And my kids, by this point, one had already started academy, one was heading towards academy, and I wanted to be there to support them through their teenage years, because it's not just when they're little that they need you. It's kind of later in life too. And yeah, it was either end up in Cornhill or leave. So I did. And I'm terrible for jumping feet first. In other words, I left without another job and thought, right, what can I do? I'll do anything. And was just sort of thinking of lots of things. I'm a firm believer in, if you put the work in, you can do anything. And these days there are various methods. You don't have to go back to college. You don't have to go to university. There's training courses galore. If you look hard enough for what it is that you want to do. And I have a little room in my house that I thought, what can I do with this room where I'm actually home and I'm actually here, and I don't have to be driving for 4 hours a day. And the thought of facing town traffic, heading in and out of town for something each day, just, it wasn't something that I wanted to consider at all. And I could have gone back into hospitality. There are various things, but I didn't want that either. And yeah, so I had to put my thinking cap on. Thought back to, actually, what would I really love? I love getting my nails done. And actually, when I was at school, I actually originally wanted to be a hairdresser. That's what I wanted to do. But hairdressing requires a lot of training, a lot of practice. So I looked into various beauty courses, and I did a nail course, I did a waxing course, I did eyebrow tinting and whatever courses. So I just did a few courses here and there and set up my own little home salon. My husband, whilst I had been working with Slimming World, he had actually given up his job with the council and had his own dog walking business. So we were both self-employed then. And so with my little home salon, it grew quite quickly, actually. There was obviously a need in the area for that. And within about 6 months, I was really quite busy. I wasn't full at that point, but I was, busy enough to be making a decent income and at home, which was the main aim. And then COVID struck very quickly afterwards, because that was it was August 2019. I started my little beauty business, and of course March 2020, the world went crazy. So with my husband being self-employed and me being self-employed, we lost our income overnight, essentially. And quite truthfully, if it hadn't been for the mortgage payment holidays, we probably would have lost our house, which is a scary thought. Because of when I had went back into self-employment, because as a district manager with Slim World, I was fully employed. When I went back into self-employment, because of the timing, I didn't qualify for any grants actually until 13 months after the first lockdown was when I got a first grant. So I had nothing to contribute, for want of a better phrase.
It was
And
it was an unbelievable time, actually. Looking back, I
yeah,
can't quite believe that what happened then,
I know, I know.
Yeah.
And my husband did qualify for some grants, but because it took into account like your first year in business, because when he had started his dog walking business, so the grant amounts weren't a lot, because it had averaged over the previous 3 years, taking that first year into account. So he actually started delivering parcels with Amazon just to try and get some money and just to help us survive, really. So of course we annihilated our savings during that time. We just did whatever we could just to survive. Built up a load of credit card debt and yeah, just did what we had to do. So when we could get back to work, we did. The issue for my husband was that people had been walking their own dogs and were still working from home. So a lot of them could still walk their own dogs. So his business wasn't going to bounce back in quite the same way as mine did. I mean, it was it was a crazy time, because we were open for a period, then we were shut down again, then we were open for a period, and then we were shut down again. It was like, here's a little bit of money, keep you going the next few months while we shut you down again. So once we were kind of back to maybe working a lot of the time, we kind of thought, right, what are we going to do to get ourselves back on our feet properly? What's the plan here? We're going to need a second income, and God forbid if there's any more lockdowns, we need money. So we looked into various things. Because my husband had been delivering parcels with Amazon, we even looked into perhaps setting up an Amazon delivery company, which you can do as well, but there's huge financial costs involved in that. The logistics, it would be a lot more time consuming, in the fact that we would be trying to still do our other jobs as well as that, because we still needed that money coming in, because we had a lot of debt to repay and things as well. So we looked at all sorts of things, and the competition businesses was one of them. So although we're mature, we're fairly tech savvy, but not as tech savvy as to create websites and things. So it was a huge learning curve initially. A lot of research, a lot of looking at other businesses like that, seeing the kinds of things that they did, a lot of Googling with regards
Lots of
to
research.
yeah, definitely. Just to see, what was what, and actually, could we afford to even set it up initially? Because obviously there are can be huge costs involved in just setting up websites and things, and your web hosting and everything else. So we decided it was worth the risk, basically, and yeah, just got going and find a web designer. One of the things that we wanted to do with our competition business, because our own businesses had been affected so badly with COVID, we wanted to try and support local businesses where we could. So we used a web designer that lives in Bankery, actually. And she was great initially. She designed our logo and everything as well. So she's a graphic designer as well. So she was cracking, and she was very upfront about costs, and allowed us to sort of pay bits and pieces along the way as well. So that really helped us get started and off our feet initially as well. But she, held her hands up, was like, I've not done this kind of website before. So it was a bit of a learning curve on both fronts in there. And that initial website we launched with, but she could only take us so far. So further down the line, we did have to go elsewhere. But she really helped us get on our feet initially and get started. We had
So you,
sorry.
yeah, you told a story to me a wee while ago about a bit of a delay in getting started,
Yeah.
and all the competitions that
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, tell us
Well,
about that.
obviously, for those of you listening who know Aberdeen, the Aberdeen area, there is a massive competition business up in this neck of the woods. And of course, because they were so massive, they inspired lots of other people to look into and start, I guess, competition businesses. They initially, our web designer was fabulous, but we needed a web developer, if you like, to help us with hosting the website, making sure it was lovely and secure for customers, parting with their hard-earned cash for tickets. So we initially had the web developer for want of a better phrase, was rubbish. Didn't do what he said he would do, and certainly didn't do it in the time scale that we needed him to do it in, or that he said he could do it in. So we actually were delayed 3 months. We should have launched in March 2021. But after many, many back and forths, and actually sometimes not even getting a response, we sacked him off and had to find another web developer and hosting sort of agent, if you like. And we didn't end up launching until June 2021. And in that 3 months, there were 25 that I know of, local, I say local meaning across Aberdeen, Aberdeenshire, Angus, that kind of area, 25 local competition businesses that launched in that 3 months we were delayed. And we were like every day going on Facebook, and there was another one popping up and another one. And we were like, oh my God, what do we do? But we felt that we'd spent so much time and money so far, we couldn't go backwards. We couldn't not do it or delay any further. We just had to hit and hope, really, for want of a better phrase. And yeah, so we launched in June 2021, and actually slowly, that of those 25 that set up in that 3 months that we were delayed. I mean, there have been others since as well. But out of those 25, there's actually only 4 remaining now.
Mhm.
And that I know of, because again, there might be ones out there that I've not heard of yet. But yeah, there's only 4 going now, and we were kind of watching what they were doing. And some of them, even though, because obviously you have to build followers, you have to build a customer base of people that are willing to part with their money for tickets. And because without that customer base, you could have the best prize in the world, but without enough people to buy a ticket for it, you're never going to make money on it. You're never ever going to be able to sell enough tickets to even cover the cost of it, never mind anything else. Because contrary to popular belief, our prizes aren't donated, we buy them. Because a lot of people think this kind of business that we get things donated, we do not. That is not the case at all. So we do have to cover the costs of not only the prize, but the transaction fees, the web hosting, the continued web development, there's all sorts of other fees that go into it as well. So we were watching some of these other businesses that set up, and we felt that some of them were trying to go too big too soon, if you like, in order to compete with the big competition businesses out there, which, I get. But what we have tried to do from the very start is not compete with the big businesses that are out there, but hopefully do prizes that appeal to people, that is maybe something that they would really like, but maybe don't have the extra few £100s to shell out on that. But would love to win it for 99p a ticket or 1.99 a ticket, or what have you. And we're not quite at the life-changing prizes just yet, but we hope to get there eventually, that's for sure.
Do you know, I'm listening to that story, Rachel, and start off, you said you went into hospitality and you were managing events and the transferable skills that you developed there. I'm seeing that that's been relevant in everything, probably everything else that you've done since?
Yeah, I mean, it's people skills, I guess, is something that can never go amiss, if you like. You know, in a lot of the industries that I've been in, you know, there have been a few others in there as well that I've not told you about. uh, there, people talking to people, the ability to, I don't know, relate to people, I guess, in some ways, uh, is a skill that helps in so many different areas. I guess, you know, if you can imagine the hospitality industry dealing with complaints is one of the most challenging things. And actually, it was no different with Slimworld, actually, as well. As a district manager of Slimworld, the amount of complaints I had to deal with there was very challenging as well. Um, this kind of thing, like for example, today, the podcast kind of thing, and even going live on Facebook to do our live draws with the competitions, you know, it's something that I'm well out of practice with. Of course, I used to, you know, stand up in slimmer groups and talk to a room full of people, but it didn't feel like you were, I don't know, hosting anything. You were just chatting to people that you saw every week and catching up. And I have gotten used to being on live on Facebook with our live draws. I don't listen back because, you know, nobody likes the sound of their own voice. And but you get used to it. But I haven't quite gotten used to it that I'm prepared to go live like 5 times a day. That's not me. It'll never will be me. Um, but yeah, I guess people skills and things. One thing that actually with the competition industry, and the fact that I was saying, you know, that we're still relatively small and we maybe haven't grown quite as quickly as others, with a lot of other competition businesses, not them all, but a few of them, I don't know if people like to dramatize things for effect. For it's a bit like clickbait, isn't it? You know, with your newspaper articles and things like that. And I can't bring myself to do that. I think one thing with us, with our business, and what you get is what you see is what you get. Essentially, we're very real people. We're trying to make a better life for ourselves, but hopefully trying to make a better life for other people along the way as well, and winning some prizes and things. Um, you know, we've had a lot of local winners, which is lovely. We've met and got to know quite a few of our customers, which is even, you know, was something we never ever thought would happen either. Um, do you know, so that there are loads of positives to it, but there are certain things that I think, I don't know whether it's because of our age nowadays or with the experience that we've had in the past. There's certainly certain things that I'm not prepared to do with our business that others are prepared to do, and whether that slowed us down a bit, that's okay. I'll accept that because I'm not willing to do the things that might make us grow quicker.
Like what? What are the you know? So you've got your
Well, like I was,
your boundaries. What are we
yeah.
talking about there?
Well, like I was saying, even about the going live thing, I know that there are other businesses out there who go live on Facebook many times a day, but uh, that's just not. I actually switched off from some of those competition pages because to me that's annoying, and I
There's
don't want that for our business.
they're sharing a lot of their life that
Yeah,
yeah.
very much so. Definitely going live just for the sake of it, or going live to dramatize their own life out there, and that's just and that's great for them if that's what they want to. I'm not criticizing them for that, but that's not something that we want to do for our business. It's just not us. You know, we're very normal country people. Just I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
So
just
what's it?
and even things like so a lot of businesses like ours send out marketing texts, and we have not ever sent out a marketing text so far. Never say never, because you know there might be some day that we need to break even on a prize or something like that. But for me personally, I find them annoying, so I don't want to do them to our customers because I don't want anybody else out there feeling that we're being annoying. Um,
Yeah, intrusive. Is
Yes,
that the word?
yeah, that's a good word for it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, you know, definitely. I mean, there are obviously we have to be out there. I do marketing emails. We have to be live to draw various things, and you know, I might do extra lives if there's something really exciting to tell people, um, and things like that. But yeah, there's just certain things that I don't want to do, so I'm not gonna.
So social media is your main marketing channels
Yeah,
then?
absolutely. You name it, we're on it. Where Facebook is one of the main, that's where we have the most followers on our Facebook page. Even our Facebook page actually has a risk, if you like. Our business, the competition industry, is classed as a high risk business. Facebook doesn't like us either, actually, to be honest. And there are various things, words, all sorts on Facebook that can actually trigger Facebook to shut the page down, which is the extreme. But I do know other competition businesses out there who have had their pages shut down. So there are various words and things we try not to use too much on our posts because Facebook will flag it up, and there's like so many warnings that you get. And actually, the more warnings you get, the less visible your page becomes, the less people your page shows your content to.
Mm.
Uh, which is cheeky in my eyes. Facebook needs to sort itself out. Even yesterday, actually, I don't know what's been going on with Facebook lately, but yesterday, our Facebook followers said 0 yesterday, and I was like, where'd everybody go? Facebook has various glitches and isn't the best for our public pages because, of course, Facebook want to make money out of us as well. So really, for anybody with a business page, not just for competition industries, but anybody with a business page on Facebook, they want you to pay to boost your post, to pay to boost your page. When actually, in my eyes, if someone has chosen to follow our page, they should be getting shown everything we're putting up because they've chosen to follow us, as in any business out there. So it's frustrating,
Yeah. So there's a
for
lack
want
of
of a better phrase.
control. You don't have
Absolutely.
control of
Yeah.
that marketing channel. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've spoken to a lot of businesses that have had similar challenges. One that used a lot of Google and that was taken down. And yeah.
Yeah, it's a challenge. So we do also have a Facebook group as well, where we probably feel we have slightly more control over our closed Facebook group. And some competition businesses out there, actually, their group has more people in it than their business page has, because they feel they have that bit more control. So we're kind of working to try and build our group on Facebook up at the moment, with genuine people, because another issue that we have as a competition business, especially with Facebook, because obviously to try and gain new followers, we do free giveaways.
Mhm.
A lot, not a lot, but quite often we do free giveaways, try and boost our followers, try and hopefully encourage our existing players to share our page with potential new players. And but there is a group of Facebook people out there, and it's a huge bugbear of mine, who are what I call career compers. So basically, they come from all over the UK. They have their own groups set up where they only share different free things that they find on Facebook, and they jump on every free Facebook post out there, and they will never ever spend a penny with any business that they're sharing these free things from. And it's not just competition business, it could be, I don't know, a restaurant giving away a voucher, it could be somebody, recently there was quite a lot of people doing Easter freebies to try and increase their following, not competition businesses but the other businesses out there, and they were all jumping on the bandwagon. So it's not that I'm against people applying to, entering something for free, not at all, but they abuse the system. They sort of flood your freebies and will never ever spend with any of those businesses. And they sort of push out the people who do support these businesses. Um, so yeah, with the closed group, you've got an element more of control with that.
Yeah.
Because actually I could not allow those freebie compers in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they just bug me.
So has it been a big learning curve
Oh,
with
absolutely. It still is. Still is.
yeah.
Um, Absolutely still is. Even things like the other social media channels. So obviously the most recent one is Threads. It's like, how on earth do I use that? But I have been using it, and actually we've got over 550 followers on there now, which is very strange. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just, repeat a lot of the posts that I'm putting everywhere else. Um, Instagram, the fact, one another bugbear of mine as well, actually, is the fact that you cannot stream to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. Like they're owned by the same people. Why can't we stream to both of them at the same time? Like that makes no sense. Is it still Zuckerberg that owns all of that? Get on it.
Yeah, if he's listening, which of course he
Yes,
listens to
just
all of my
send it to
podcasts.
him, Brenda. Christ. Um, like why it doesn't make sense at all. So we haven't really cracked the live side of things on Instagram. We could do separate lives, of course we could, but then I would feel like I was repeating a lot of the information. Because there are slightly different followers that you get on these channels. TikTok, there's something I haven't pushed myself out of my comfort zone enough on TikTok. That needs to come. I'll put on my big girl pants one day and do that. I don't get me wrong, I put up videos, but don't really show myself. Um,
I need to be doing more of that. There are some shorts from these interviews that I've got them all there that I've not put them up. So
oh
let's
wow,
have a
yeah,
wee pack there, Rachel.
yeah,
I'll put out a short from this interview, and that'll be it. Get us
yeah,
both.
and I'll get it shared. Let me know when you've done it.
So your story seems like it's a real just the resilience, the
Yeah.
all of the things that you've done, and like if that didn't work or circumstances change, you had to do something else, and then COVID, and you know all it's just an amazing story of resilience
Yeah.
that you've got there, and the everything that you've done through your career, and are an entrepreneur. Your entrepreneurial journey has been about your family and your lifestyle. Is that
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, definitely, especially since having the kids. I mean, even prior to having the kids, I worked more hours than Alan did, and that's my husband. I don't think I mentioned his name yet. And when we moved in together, I told him I'm near your mother, So even from the get-go, I was like, right, whoever's home first starts cooking tea. That's just the rule. So I am very lucky in that he's been on board with that. And, we even with the kids, it was very much a shared thing. It used to bug me when people say, "Oh, is he babysitting tonight?" No, he's been a dad. Actually, he's half of the parenting team. So it meant I could go out in the evenings and weekends and do what needed to be done. And I think resiliency is something that any business still surviving now after COVID, they've all got that. Because there have been a lot that have gone tatties over the side because of COVID, the challenges, the increases in prices. I mean, this kind of business, we're fortunate in that we don't have to pay for premises, rent, rates, etc. Welcome to my living room, we're fortunate that we don't have those costs. We have different costs, but not ones as massive as that. Things like paying the electric bills and stuff like that. I mean, working from home, obviously we've got electric and gas and things like that to pay for here, but not the business rates that people are paying out there for premises. I mean, there are businesses like ours that do have warehouses and all these kinds of things, but we haven't needed that just yet. Never say never, but we haven't had those costs. So yeah, I think any business that's still going now should give themselves a pat on the back, because this last 3-4 years have just been mind-boggling.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So I've got another question for you. What's it like running a business with your husband?
Well, you say that, but actually, he still works full time, doing other things. So he drives lorries. So his name might be on the business, but he just rocks up for a live draw video and goes, "Hiya, here's me." And actually, I do 99% of everything else. So if anything happened to me, he'd be lost. He wouldn't have a clue. Competition business would cease. He'd be like, "Then again." So yeah, I mean, and it's not that I discount him completely, because we do discuss. We discuss prizes, we discuss things to try, because on the learning curve front, we're still very much on the learning curve and trying different things to see what our players find popular or what they don't, or he might have seen something that thought, oh, hey, that would make a great prize. And I thought, oh yeah, that might actually, let's give that a whirl. So, you know, we do sort of bounce things off of each other, but workload wise, you know, with regards to the website, listing new competitions, posting things up on social media, I do all of that, and he shares stuff once I've put them all up. So yeah, I mean, we've been together 26 years actually this year. So it's we're very used to each other. And don't get me wrong, there's an odd disagreement here and there, but nothing catastrophic.
So has he been your biggest supporter?
Um, yes, definitely. And that obviously I have changed jobs and careers quite a few times over the time that we've been together, but I guess I am. Yes, he supported me. I cannot deny that in the slightest. But he's also had an option because I'm doing it anyway. If that makes sense. Um, you know, and I guess he knows me enough to know that I'll do whatever's needed to be done to make things work, to make it successful. Um, to know and actually, since he left his job with the council, he's had a few wee changes in there as well. So he can't hold that against me now.
Yeah, I think you're very inspiring, Rachel. I think it's a great story. What can we do to encourage other women to start or scale their businesses?
Um, I guess it's believing in yourself that you can do whatever you need to do. You know, it might be scary. It might be something that you need to research a lot of, depending on what your business is. You know, you might think, oh, I would like to do that, but I don't know how. Find out, look, ask people. Um, you know, you can do it. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can. It might take work to get there. It might take time to get there because some people want things tomorrow, and that doesn't necessarily happen that way. Um, but yeah, you can do it. You just have to believe yourself. If you're willing to put the work in, you can get there, wherever it is that you want to be.
Brilliant message. Just sums up the interview perfectly. Um, Thank you very much for being on the Scale Her Up podcast, Rachel.
Thank you for inviting me, Brenda. It wasn't quite as nerve-wracking as I thought it was going to be.
Just a blather and a cup of coffee with me.
Yeah,
We do it all the time.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Thanks for listening to Scale Her Up, the Female Entrepreneurs Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes, and join our Facebook community at Scale Her Up. Please connect with me, Brenda Hector, on social media and drop me a message to let me know how you're enjoying the podcasts, or even better, pop up a review. I'll finish by reminding you that only 1 in 3 UK entrepreneurs are female, and men are 5 times more likely to scale their business to over 1 million in turnover than women are. If we started and scaled our businesses to the same extent as men, it would add £250 billion to the UK economy and provide millions of jobs. Ladies, you can do it and make a massive difference.